There's a time for everything under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. We may not always choose when we're born, and we may have some control over when we die. But what you and I can control is how people will remember us. Hebrews says it's appointed unto us, and God has a design and a plan. And I say to you that God has a design and plan for every one of us. The secret is, what difference will it be at your funeral when people say about you? I didn't know Arab, but from Teresa and many of you, I've learned how he cared for kids, how he poured his life into them. I met one that's here today and shared how he changed his life. And so I say to you, when your time comes, what will people say about you? It's a good thing to write your own funeral and then try to fulfill it. However it is you want to do it, because you don't want to get to the end of this and go, man, I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. To make a difference in somebody else's life or an organization's life like Camp Rainbow or something else you may find. We all may travel a different road, but we're all going to travel that road. So the reality is this, and I'm going to give you an image. At the end of the day, there's a thing called, the sunset. I used to live in Georgia up on a mountain, and you could have a sunset between an hour and a half during the spring and the fall. I always liked the way the sun shone up on the mountain, up off the mountains, and it would just last forever. And the interesting thing about a good man is he's much like a sunset. He will shine in your memory. He will shine because of what he's done, maybe as a friend to you, maybe he rode with you, maybe because you worked with him at Camp Rainbow. But his sunset lasts as long as you remember him and let it affect you in a positive way. Not just that you miss him. You realize why you, one of the guys I talked to, he said, I don't want to say anything because I'm going to open a chance for you to give us, if somebody wants to say something about him, you can. And one of the guys said, well, I don't really want to say anything because I get emotional, I don't want to cry, and I understand all that. But you realize one of the reasons that you grieve is this. He won't be here for the next party you have. He won't be here for the next ride you have. He won't be here the next time you go to Camp Rainbow. And so you grieve, all of us grieve over things that we've lost that we haven't done. Because you'll never forget the memories of what you did do with it. But you're not grieving over the past. You're grieving over the next things that you think, I won't get to do that with him. He won't be there for that. He won't be there for that. That's why we grieve. We're grieving over what we perceive we're going to lose, a future memory that's not been made yet. What you've got to do is make your memories today intentional. What do you want to live up to? What is the legacy you would like people to say about you when it's done? When you walk around this room, I didn't know most of you except Teresa. And then when I started meeting you, you started sharing with me a little bit of your life and how Arab had affected it. And I heard the good stories. I'm sure there's some others, but that's beside the point. There's bad stories about all of us, including me, so we can't judge each other. Amen? Amen. We sure don't need to judge how anybody leaves this world either. Amen? Amen. Because we each choose a different road. And sometimes people make choices, and our place is not to judge them, just to remember them. Amen. So I say to you, how do you remember this man? How do you remember how he affected you? Anyone want to share some short story, long story? It doesn't matter. We're not in a rush here. I don't think you are. I'm not. I'm waiting for the food anyway. I'm a preacher. I got chicken. I'll be here for a while. Somebody want to share?
Get up there, Mom.
I just have a few things, and I know there's other people that want to say something. I kind of wrote it down because I've been so hurried and everything. And I'm old. I suffer from CRS really bad, so But I met Arab when I was 18 years old. Never been about a biker before in my life. I married my oldest son's dad, and we ended up in a motorcycle club in Florida. Didn't know a thing. I went to 14 years of Catholic school people. Then I'm in the middle of this 1%er group. I'm like, hello. Anyway, Arab saw that. He knew that. And he brought me in. He made me good friends with his wife at the time. He sheltered me. He taught me. He made sure I didn't mess up. And I'll never forget it. He introduced me to the biker world, or helped me get through the beginnings of the biker world. While we were in Florida, and I'm sure most of you know this, he was with that club. They got arrested, all of them, for RICO. I'm sure most of us know what that is. Arab was sentenced to 13 years in prison. during that time, I got to write to him. We visited him several times. And then when he got out, he was different. It wasn't all about the money and the gold jewelry and the best spotless motorcycle that had everything on it and the best car. He had changed. And he moved down here. There was a couple of us that he knew that had lived here, and he moved down here and he got with BWC. He met them and he said, you know what, Trace, this is what it is. And he decided that these kids that had gone the wrong way, like he had in his younger years, that's what he was going to make his life about. And with BWC, he was able to do that with disabled children and handicapped children. But on the side, he was everybody's dad. He pulled in every stray child there was. Every child that was troubled, every child that had bad parents, or they thought they did. They know best, you know, kids. But everybody he did. And that was what he lived the rest of his life about, was kids. And I loved him, y'all. And he lived with me several times. He was with me and my kids. I knew him before and I knew him after, and he turned out to be a wonderful, wonderful man. And we kind of lost touch because he did get a great job in Nashville, Columbia with Magnolia Academy. Again, working with children that were in need. And there he met his daughter Megan, and there he met another child, and I'm both sure they're going to. And for me, we did the phone thing. And it was always, he did come to visit us after that. He came and got the bike and rode it sometimes and stuff. But these two will be able to tell you if you choose to. I know you've chosen to be able to tell you after that. But he was my brother more than, I know I'm only 19 now, but when I met him at 18, that's a long time to know somebody is a year, you know? I mean, that's a long time. And the man loved the world, and he loved BWC, and he loved what y'all stood for. And I want to remember him. I'm sad that he's gone, but I want to remember him as he was. That we all knew him as a loving, kind father to everybody that needed help.
Amen.